Federal prosecutor exposed for being racist online. Put up his picture, full mask. Wasn't hiding it well. All right, here we go. The individual behind an anonymous X account, rife with white supremacist and anti-immigration post, has been identified as Joseph Rodden. No joke. Joseph Rodden, an immigration and customs enforcement prosecutor, according to a detailed new report by the Texas Observer. So the profile, GlomarResponder, which boasts more than 17,000 followers, is run by the 44-year-old Joseph Rodden, an assistant chief counsel for ICE in the Dallas area, who reportedly filled the X page with numerous hateful, racist, xenophobic posts. Quote, America is a white nation founded by whites. Okay. So let's be 100. America was founded by deists. Many of them were bigots. They believed that it was okay to purchase human beings, abuse children, if they happen to be black. Now, that's the context here. So this individual who has a job as a trusted public official, not to prosecute, but to uphold justice and the Constitution, swore an oath to the Constitution, but could care less about the document that he would say defines the nation. How does it define the nation, sir? It does not even define you. Our country should favor us, he writes. All blacks are foreign to my people, dumb Fs. The account posted last September. Let's go to May 2024. GlomarResponder posted, quote, I'm not a commie, I'm a fascist. Fascists solve communist problems. Get your insults right. And then they utilize the R word. Then in August, quote, migrants are all criminals. Last March, nobody is proposing feeding migrants into tree shredders, yet give it a few more weeks at this level of invasion. And that will be the moderate position. And just last month, my World War II vet grandfather didn't get a chance to kill Asians, so he volunteered for Korea. He'd be asking for a short-term job with ICE, kicking doors and swinging a baton. I don't think we have to talk about the obvious conflict of interest here. This is a racist wet dream. He gets a job prosecuting brown people. And every now and then, he may get a black person. And then he's so racist that he's not satisfied with that level of evil. He then has to create an account, a social media account. To do what? To be even more racist. Because it wasn't enough just to ruin the lives of human beings that he was biased against due to his smallness and his bigotry. So Rodden's connection to the page was unearthed through a thorough investigation of the GlomarResponder social activity, which included posts suggesting that its operator was affiliated with an ICE office In response to a post last month that listed several cities where immigration raids and deportations were expected to take place, GlomarResponder wrote, quote, "Can confirm all of those. May have a betting pool to see who can guess which one I'm at on any particular day based on the news." He added, the next day the account posted, quote, "Yeah, I'm in the courthouse waiting on warrants," adding, quote, "Turns out there's a lot of B work to be done to make mass deportations happen," end quote. A closer examination of other posts made by the account reveals the biographical details that coincide with information about Rodden based on his personal social media activity, court hearings that he attended, and records from open source investigative tools and private data broker sites, all of which were detailed in the Observer's report. The GlomarResponder account has been set to private, so its posts can only be seen by the page's followers. So in a statement, so ICE did speak up, put it up. ICE spokesperson did not confirm Rodden's employment or whether the agency will launch an investigation associated with GlomarResponder account. Quote, "U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement will not comment on the substance of this article pending further investigation, to include whether the owner of the reference X account is a current employee." The spokesperson wrote in an email to the Observer, "Notwithstanding, ICE holds its employees to the highest standards of professionalism and takes seriously all allegations of inappropriate conduct." Inappropriate conduct. You should open up every case this man has ever prosecuted, because he started with the bias of saying everybody who's a migrant is criminal. How do you uphold justice? How do you perform your oath of office? You see, to me, this is more than civil. This is criminal. The level of public trust is so extreme and is so magnified, especially in this political era, that for someone to willingly violate that oath, it should be a criminal charge. But we know it won't happen. Why? Because Trump is president. That's why. We know this will not receive the full diligence it deserves, and the people who have likely been shredded by this human being will probably not see justice because Trump is in the White House. But what we can do is provide light. Let's put his picture back up again. We can provide light. We can give you information. We can call it as it is. I want to say a big thank you to the Texas Observer for doing such a remarkable job in the investigation of this story. Yasmin, thoughts here?
Yeah, it's hard to imagine someone working for ICE, that they wouldn't be at least a little bit racist. They would almost have to be by definition. By definition, they troll the borderlands looking for people of color, and then they question them. Then they say, "Why are you here? And how did you get here? And are you supposed to be here?" But if you're a white person at the border, they're not going to stop you, right? So you have to profile people. You have to want to profile people. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing that job. Even people like this guy, he doesn't work at the border. He is a prosecutor. But as a prosecutor, he chose to work for ICE. He could have worked anywhere else, but he chose to work for ICE. And I think this is what's so triggering about people who say things like, "I'm not against immigration, I'm just against illegal immigration." Everyone is against things that are illegal. That's not a thing that needs to be said. That should be a given. If something's illegal, then steps should be taken to curb that type of behavior. But the people who go out of their way to say things like that, it always makes you wonder, why do you have to clarify that? Or why do you feel the need to clarify that? And maybe I'm making too much of this, or maybe I'm reading too much into something, but people who say things like that are more often than not preoccupied with the idea in some way of Black and or brown people entering and living in this country, however it's being done. Even if it's legally, they're still not happy about it but they know they can't reasonably complain about it without being labeled a racist. And
Yeah.
this guy's name is Rodden. I know it's spelled differently, but it is incredibly fitting because he does seem to be rotten to his core with hatred. And it does that kind of hatred, it just festers inside of you and it does rot you. And he's also representative of so much rot that people like Trump and his rhetoric have inflicted on this nation. This is a thing that we are dealing with as a nation. This is not an isolated incident with this one man. This man is a product of this country that we live in and the political climate that we're currently in.
That's right. He is a symptom of the disease.